Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of these four designs. These four designs all say the same exact thing, which is something you can do with this script, is make a bunch of different designs using the same key letters and words. So this script, originally developed by Loren Sherman, uses a combination of dots and lines on these four different shaped letter stems. So in context, dot modifiers look like these guys. And line modifiers are pretty tricky because they can be curvy lines like this, they can be straight lines like this, and they can even look like pretend circles like this or like this. And then the letter stems, these four different letter stems, in context, there's a deep divot shape, so like this and this, or this and this. There is a circle inside the word circle, so like this here, these guys in here, this, and even this one here, these two, are circles inside the word circles. Then there are shallow divots, so like this and this, and this and this, and this and this, and this and this and this. And this shallow divot shape is 50% or less complete. So it is an arc shape and it doesn't curve back in on itself. So this is a deep divot because it starts to curve back in on itself and is this stem. But this is a shallow divot here because it doesn't curve back in on itself. So this does curve back in and is a deep divot, and this doesn't curve back in and is a shallow divot. So also the center of this circle is inside the word, and the center of this circle is on the line or outside the word circle. So this is about as extreme of a shallow divot you can get, and this is about as extreme of a deep divot you can get. So these two look similar, but this is a deep divot, so like that, and this is a shallow divot, like this. So anyway, and last but not least, we have a circle on the line of the word circle, which only one letter in this name has it, which is a Y here, which is on Boyd. So there's the, no, this is the word circle. Here's the Y, and then here's the Y, and here's the Y. So yeah. Let's go ahead and start looking at this design in context. Oh, one more thing, vowels. Vowels are smaller circles, so in context they look like these little guys. And they have different positions depending upon what vowel they are. So O's are towards the inside of the word circle, E's are on the line of the word circle, A's are outside the word circle, and then I's are like E's but have a line going towards the middle, and U's are like E's but have a line going outwards. So here we have an example of an I with the line going towards the middle. I don't think there's any U's in this, but here's an O because it's like a bead on a string. And then we have an A outside the word circle here and here and here and here. So yeah, let's go ahead and start reading these. So I'm going to start actually with the outer bit because the outer bit is the same for all four of these designs, and that includes a date and a place. So the date is set up with these concentric circles. So numbers are concentric circles, and they can be overlapped so long as all of the important bits are still visible. And each ring around a thick inner circle is a decimal point. So here we have the decimal point, and then here's the ones place, and then here's the tens place. So this is a 2-digit number, and the first digit has no lines passing through this stem, so the first digit is a 0. So you start the day with an O, or unless this is the month, day, year. I'm not sure how you mark your days, but this is an O1. So O1 is our first number. And then we have an O5 because a circle or a dot counts for 5 points. So O5, so number O1, O5, and then we have 1, and then we have to count all of these lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4 lines plus 5 from the dot equals 9. Same thing here, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines plus the 5 is another 9. And then last but not least, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1999, so 1999. So the date is 01, 05, 1999. And then here's the place. Here's a shallow divot stem. And it has 3 lines on it. So that is an S. 1, 2, 3 lines on the S. And then we have the E on the line of the word circle, like this. Then an R with 1, 2, 3 dots. So shallow divot, 3 dots. then a deep divot B with no modifiers on it, and then we have that I talked about at the beginning with a line going towards the middle, and then an A outside the word circle. So again, all 4 of these have that same bit going around the outside. So yeah, there is 01, 05, 1999 Serbia going around all 4 of these designs. And now it's time to get to the names, which are the different bits for all 4 of these. So to do this, I'm going to talk about each name in turn, and then go through the 4 designs for one name. So we'll start with the first name, Spencer. So in this design, here is the name Spencer. Bottom of the word circle is here, and this is a shallow divot shape. So this shallow divot shape here has 3 lines on it, making it an S. 1, 2, 3 lines on that S. And then we have a P with 1, 2 lines on a circle inside the word circle, 2 lines on it. Then we have an E on the line of the word circle. And now we have something tricky. These are 2 letters stacked on top of each other because it's a double line. See how there are 2 lines concentric with each other? And this double line is got different thicknesses. So we have a thin line and a thick line, which means it's 2 different letters. So 2 different letters in the same row. And we read the thin one first. So this thin one is an N because it's got 1 line on it. And even though these lines pass through it, they don't count because only lines that end on the letter stem count. So 1 line is an N, and then we have this thick line with 1, 2, 3, 4 dots on it. So that is a C. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the letter C. I know I sent you some messages about the letter C and how that functions in the script, but the letter C was newly added because there was originally no letter C, and this letter C can only be used in proper nouns or in acronyms, which this is a name, so you are allowed to use the actual letter C. So 1, 2, 3, 4 dots on a circle inside the word circle is a letter C, so C. And then we have the E, just like this E, and then an R with 1, 2, 3 dots. So Spencer with the letter C, S-P-E-N-C-E-R. And I'm going to read this Spencer. So this one I set up Spencer, Bojan, Boyd, all around, a bunch of decorations in the middle. This is nothing, it's just an empty circle. And there's no lines, nothing with 4 lines on it, so this couldn't be confused as anything. I'm rambling. Anyway, so I'm going to read this Spencer, because it's done very similarly to this. So here's a shallow divot with 1, 2, 3 lines on it, just like this one. P has 2 lines on it, just like this P. Here's the E on this design, just like this E here. And then we have that same stacked NC as well. Here are the 4 dots on the C, just like these 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. And here's the 1 line on the N, just like that 1 line on the N. And then we have the E, just like that E, and then 3 dots on the R, just like this R. So here's the Spencer in this design. And then these 2 are spelled with an S. So more traditional Gallifreyan. So back when the script was originally developed, there was no letter C, so you'd use that S. So here we have that shallow divot 1, 2, 3 line S instead of the 4 dot circle inside the word circle. So yeah, here we have a shallow divot with 1, 2, 3 lines for the S. Then we have a P, 2 lines, just like that P. Then we have the E hanging out on the line of the word circle, just like that E. N with 1 line on it, just like this N stacked in the C. And then we have an S, 1, 2, 3 lines on the S, just like this S. But again, this is the letter C, and this is the letter S, so here's where these 2 words differ by letter. And then we have an E on the line of the word circle, and then we have the R with 1, 2, 3 dots, just like this R. And then we have this Spencer, S, 1, 2, 3 lines, just like that S. P, 2 lines, just like this P. E, and this whole set of 3 things is done very similarly. Again, these 2 designs are very, very similar. This is just more evenly balanced, with the Spencer being a big center name instead of making the Mickey Mouse accidental shape here. So here's the big with the kind of 3 elements sticking off of that. So anyway, very similar patterns, just different layout. So anyway, here's where things get a little, here's the E, and then R, 1, 2, 3 dots on the R, just like this R, which has 1, 2, 3 dots on this R. And even though these dots all make a chain, there's 3 dots part of this letter, 2 dots part of the Y, and 3 dots part of the D, just like the 2 dots and then the 3 dots there. But these 3 dots are more separate and part of this kind of separate idea. So here's the Spencer in this design. Here's the Spencer in this design. Here's Spencer, and then here's the Spencer in this design. So let's go ahead and get to the second name, Bojan. B is a deep divot shape. So this deep divot, like we talked about at the beginning, with no modifiers, is a B. And even though lines pass through it, again, they don't count because they don't end on it. Here's the O. So it's inside the word circle. And then we have this J. And there's a whole other word inside the J. That's okay. That's what you have to do if you're going to put, multiple words kind of centralized and stacked on top of each other. You have to put them inside the letters of the other words. So this J has no modifiers on it because these dots are all closer to these stems inside it, and then this line doesn't end on it, so that's a J. A outside the word circle, and then N has one line on it. So B-O-J-A-N, and then here's the bojan on this one. Deep divot, B-O-J-A-N. This is probably the easiest one to read. This one's pretty easy too. B-O-J-A-N. And this one's tricky because I did something different with the N. So here we have that deep divot shape for the B-O. And this J looks like it could be a TH. Like I don't know if I was introducing this stem and pointed at this. But here's the word circle. So this is inside the word circle. So it's still a J. And then here's the A outside the word circle. So like that. And then we have this line, which is big. It's too big to be a vowel, and it's a circle inside the word circle. So the only thing it can be is a stem like this, and it has one line ending on it, so there's our N for this one. So this is kind of a cheesy rules, kind of stylistic preference, where this N is harder to read because it overlaps the other letters, unlike these N's. But I wanted to make this one look different and nice and not have bojan looking the same in all of them. So I did that with this. Anyway, so here's bojan, and then B-O-J-A-N. And then our last name, Boyd. Here's our Boyd in this design. Wait, this is Boyd. This is bojan, the big bojan. Anyway, B-O-Y with 2 dots, because Y's are circles on the line of the word circle, 2 dots. And then D's are deep divots with 3 dots. So B-O-Y-D, B-O. So when O's are stacked on the consonant stem, they're like a beat on a string. So B-O-Y-D, we already read that one. B-O-Y, 2 dots, D with 1, 2, 3 dots. And then we have B-O-Y with 2 dots, D with 3 dots. B-O-Y with 2 dots, D with 3 dots. So again, S-P-E-N-C-E-R, B-O-J-A-N, B-O-Y-D. This is all just decoration junk in the middle here. This again this is tricky. It looks like a period. This could be a period. This looks like a period, but that's okay because you can have a period between our dates and then our names. So period, S-P-E-N-C-E-R, B-O-J-A-N, B-O-Y-D. Then we have an S-P-E-N-S-E-R, B-O-J-A-N, B-O-Y-D, S-P-E-N-S-E-R, B-O-J-A-N, B-O-Y-D. And here's again decorations that could look like a period, because when you have just a circle on punctuation, then it's a period. So yeah. This has some decoration junk here, decoration junk here. This decoration junk can't be read as anything, and this has like no decoration junk, and every line here is necessary for transcription. And this one has the most decoration junk, which includes the extra sentencey circle things going around everything, the super thick lines kind of matching that design you showed me of the Time Lord seal. So yeah, when I send these to you, I will be sending several different files. There will be the designs I have here with the white background for easy visibility, these designs with a clear background, and then these designs as a 3-layered SVG, which is a vector file. You can send all of those of your favorite one to your pendant maker, and they should be able to work with them and pick the design file format that works best for them in whatever tools they use to actually make this into a pendant. And I really like this one. This one's nice. I like this one, then this one, then this one, and then this one. That's my order of favorites, if that matters to you. But, yeah. You get to pick. So yeah, that's that design. I'm really happy with all 4 of them, and I hope you're happy with them as well. Bye.